Hello. I am going to try this. It's very difficult because I want to go live on my phone because I like it better how it works and the light and everything. But hello, good evening. I am Janie Daly. I am your psychic spiritual counselor. I'm also a nurse. I do healing, I do animal communications, messages from the other side, do a little bit of everything. Biggest thing too is relationships, love and relationships. To schedule your reading with me, you can send me a message to janiedaly@gmail.com. You can also send something to Facebook Messenger or to my number if you have my number. I would put my number here, but it gets a little crazy because you guys just be careful. There's so many scammers out, especially like seniors. Yeah, it's everybody. It's everybody, because the first thing most of us will say is, come on, you have to know when somebody's scamming you, but you don't. Some of them are really, really good. And especially if you're somebody who you're looking for love and this person's saying all the nice things that is just melting your heart. Remember, if they call you queen, run. Well, run anyway. Just don't give. As soon as they start asking you for money, stop. Stop the communication. Block them. But anyway, I don't want to get into that. But so, yes, schedule your reading with me. And in your reading, you guys, we talk about everything. I also do marriage counseling. So I will come to your home. And especially for those of you who have severe anxiety disorders, I will come to you. Okay. Also, you can have a psychic workshop at your house. And it is fun. A lot of people get together and you get to talk. You talk about everything. It's healing and it's fun. And the way that I start at the beginning. I explain who I am, what I do. And then I go into a separate room for privacy because we talk about very confidential things. And I am OCD about your privacy and confidentiality. So I'm excited to do sessions for people all over the world. And I do sessions for a lot of people. But if you notice, you don't know who I do sessions for. And some people are, I think everybody is celebrity worthy. Everybody is. So, but anyway, if you'll notice though, you don't know my clients, I would never tell anybody either. But anyway, I'm jumping the ship here. What we are going to talk about first, please hit the subscribe button. You guys, please get me to 500. So subscribe, like, hit the bell, and share. Please help me. I would so appreciate it because I am creating, and you are part of this, I am creating the Lightworkers group. You're a light worker, okay? Anybody, I would say like the light workers come to me. Light workers are people who have come here to help as many people as possible. And light workers have very, very difficult lives. So, and it's nice because you'll find that we all think so much alike and we all have had similar situations. We all have faith. We're spiritual people. I mean, in a sense, too, it's almost like kind of like a church, too. I mean, because my boss is God. I've always had God communications, always, my whole life. And same with Jesus. And it's amazing. And I can tell you this, I don't go into like biblical things because everybody has their higher power. But for me, God wants me to spread kindness and forgiveness, like for yourselves, because everybody makes mistakes, but to be kind to others and not to be so hard on yourselves, because so many people are. But anyway, so let's get on with the story. If you really know me well, you know I always get sidetracked. It's the ADHD. Okay, so what we're going to talk about tonight is being different. And I always liken it to like the island of misfit toys. The one like for Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the island of misfit toys. It's not that we're not broken. We're not broken at all. We're perfect. You know, we're kind, we're loving. We would do anything for anyone. Animals come to us because they know that we're different. And they know that we understand them and they understand us. So, and it's funny because I am going to refer to a video that I posted yesterday. And with that video, oh my gosh, I asked a dear friend of mine if I should take it down. And her first thing was, yes, Janie, yes, because you don't look professional. You know, somebody's going to come to you and talk to you about their lives. Then you want to let them know that you're serious, which of course I am. But the first thing, you guys, you want to stay safe with your sixth sense, laughter. You want entities who don't have your best of intentions to stay away from you? Laugh. Because seriously, excuse the expression, but to those entities that do not have my best of intentions, to them, I'm a huge pain in the butt. Sorry, a huge pain in the butt. But no pun intended. It is important for laughter. But okay, let me tell you this. So I was going to, it's kind of like a mom would do with her kids, right? So I had said to my little kids, let's go ahead and do a video together. So Penelope is the cat. Penelope's going to be 10. Ellie Mae is 5. And they love each other. Penelope loves the camera. You guys will see her on TikTok. Ellie Mae, not camera friendly. So we started doing it. And it was just to kind of like do a practice before I put this on Facebook. But we were having so much fun because, well, you'll see it. It is unprofessional, but we have so much fun. And I understand animals. Like I have always understood animals. I know what they're saying. I know what they're thinking. I communicate with them the same way that I do people. The crazy thing is though that the animals seem to listen. I say that with love. But so laughter, fun is important. But also going back to this, the island of misfits. We are also known as the black sheep. We're the black sheep. We're different. It's good to be different. As the black sheep, you don't think the same way that everybody else does. And that's okay. It is okay. Your sixth sense is highly evolved, highly. And it is tough because with having an advanced sixth sense, when you are going through spiritual growth, where you're growing and your sixth sense is enhancing, you will find that you will be very tired. You get depressed, you get anxious, but rest. I always say rest, watch funny movies, or if you want to, watch something sad and cry and get it out of your system. But know that you are different. And, a lot of us, like, we don't fit in. We don't fit in. So I'm going to tell you really quick, like how to figure out your life path. Okay. So let's say today is what, the 27th. Today's the 27th. So 5/27. Okay. And let's say your birthday is 1977, maybe. So what you do is you add all of those numbers together. You're going to add 5/27, 1977. You're going to add them all together. Okay. So you're going to do that with your birthday. So write down your birthday. So you'll see it's 9/10/17. Okay. And then 24. So 24 the 1977 added together is 24. And then so you take the 24, 25, 26, 13, and then you get 33. And then you're going to add the 5, and that is 38. And then you break it down to one digit, and that's 8, 9, 10, 11. Now, if you are an 11, you are especially gifted, especially. 11 people are highly intuitive, highly, but you're going to break that down also, though. You are going to break it down. 11 equals a 2, but the 11 is a special number. And with the 11 people, which break it down to 2, you're definitely the moon people. You are very affected by weather. You guys, actually, we all are, but you're very affected by weather. You're very affected by the moon. So when they talk about like the moon being a full moon, you fit into that category. Knowing your life path number, it really helps, because on the other side, I just got this the other day that a lady had passed away. She died for 8 minutes. And when she died, when she went to heaven, there were so many numbers. And that is true. It's very numerical. I mean, thank God I was okay with math, because when I started doing this, I would have like algebraic equations, like, two negatives equal a positive, like that kind of stuff. But numbers mean a lot. So for the person who, like a 1 person, I wish I could see this. I don't know if I like the live on YouTube. I don't know if I like it. So anyway, I'm gonna see. Oh, here we go. Oh, okay, never mind. Oh, okay, so I can answer questions. Awesome. Okay, so there we go. I don't know what I just did, but I think if you guys want to ask questions, you can try that here. Okay. Yeah, you can try it here. If not, I could possibly do this on Facebook. We are going to have lives every Tuesday and Thursday. But anyway, so like if you are, for instance, I'm a 5 person, okay? A 5 person, we're highly intuitive. We're like the 2s. The 5 person is somebody who you use all of your 5 senses, and because of the 6th sense, it enhances the 5 senses. So like I can hear my watch ticking when my arm is like away from my body. My eyes. Well, my eye. I'm not recommending this to anyone, but a very old veteran had said to me one day, he said, for his vision when he was in Vietnam, they recommended bilberry. So I started taking bilberry, and I've been taking bilberry, and it has improved my sight. I'm not recommending that to anybody. I'm just saying it has improved my sight. But before I started taking it, I went to the optometrist, and at the time I had Lily, my other dog, and she was out in the car when I went in for my appointment. The optometrist says, "So you don't wear glasses?" I go, "No, I don't need them." And he's like, put it this way, I don't want to be on the road when you're driving. And he's like, "I hope your dog drives." I go, "Yeah, she kind of gives me directions." But anyway, the 6th sense enhances your other 5 senses, no matter what your number is. Your 6th sense is very valuable. You guys, I can't express how good it is to be a light worker, to be different. Even something like this. Kindness. Kindness is key. No judgment either. No judgment with somebody's lifestyle. None. I mean, there's the big movement with like, the gender and this and that, when in reality, it's genderless. When we go home, the soul doesn't have a gender. And I don't want to get into things too deep. I don't want anybody to be like scared off. I don't want anybody to be offended. But it's genderless. I mean, it's the same thing like when I talk about, let's say, Jesus. Um, Jesus will appear to you the way that you've been taught that he looks, you know? So it's so different on the other side than what it is here. And here's the other thing too. One thing I don't hear anymore at all, is the term tomboy. When I was a kid, I was a tomboy. As an adult, I'm still a tomboy. But I like wearing my dress, not dresses. But yeah, I like dresses. I like fancy dresses. I love my makeup. But I'm a tomboy, you know? So I just feel like we're different. And I feel what happens is the very psychic people like us, people talk about like children, the crystal children and this and that. Kids are really psychic. You all you were very psychic as kids. But the thing of it is, this is like a really bad comparison. But here, it's pretty bad, I guess. But it's like when, as a child, you meet somebody who is of another culture, another skin color. As a kid, all you worry about is a friendship. And then, for me, somebody who loves food, cultures and the different foods was even like a big plus for me. But as a kid, you don't have bad feelings. You don't have hatred. Not unless you're taught. If you're taught, there you go. That's how you have it. But it's not because of no, kids aren't born with hatred. The same with sixth sense. A lot of times kids will see spirits and they're like, they will talk to them and that's their friend. But then all of a sudden mom or dad's like, and like making it so that it's something that the child should be afraid of, when that's not the case at all. There's all of that is learned. And I'll tell you this too, with my kids, you have to have the good touch, the bad touch talk. I have like the sexuality talk, and I had the first talk actually that I had was the spirits. When my children would see things, I would never, ever say, oh, no, that's just your imagination. Go to sleep. Never. I would explain what it is. And I would, be there with the child. And of course, I could tell whether something was friendly, whether it was like somebody's grandmother was just hanging around, whatever. But my kids didn't grow up afraid. Because once you are afraid, and you block it. There's a lot of people that are like, oh, I don't believe in that. They don't believe in it because they're scared of it. More than likely, the scared people have seen something as a child, but they were told it's bad and it's scary. I'll tell you, you want your kids, that for those of you like with grandchildren, and for those of you with young kids, if you want your kids to come to you about things that are important, it starts from the time they come to you and they say, I'm scared. There's something in my room. Trust and believe. And if you're scared, call me. I have been known, like when parents don't know what to do, I've been known, because I can tell. I don't need to go to your home I do remote viewing. So when I'm talking to you, because you've given me permission to do the session, I can see the home. I can see what's going on. So I can tell you from just a phone call. And I can tell you too that 8 out of 10 times there have been spirits there, but they've been good spirits. I know when my oldest daughter, my first child, she threw up, and I heard something on the monitor, and I went into the room, and sure enough, when I laid, and back in those days, they laid on their bellies. So I go in though, and she was she was originally at the top of the bed, but I came in because I heard something. She was at the foot of her crib, and she was away and out because she had grown up. So the nice spirit in the house actually came and turned her around so she wouldn't be laying in it. So, and I believe it was my mom because that's who she was named after. But it doesn't have to be scary. And children, it has been scientifically proven also that children have experienced past lives, and it's accurate. It's been scientifically proven, like where they've actually followed what the kid was saying and found out that, yeah, this is in fact what the place looks like. And in one case, the kid had left something in like a box behind a brick in the basement, and it was still there. So, and that goes into the night terrors. You have a child who they have night terrors. And for those of you who are familiar, it's terrifying for the child. And a lot of these kids have been soldiers. And, whether a boy or a girl, because remember, in a past life, your little girl could have been a boy, but little girls can be in the war too, But still, it's best when it happens, you don't suddenly wake them. You go with them, you sit with them, let them go through it. You can hold their hand and just be there to make them feel safe. And then you can talk about it like, well, okay, what happened? What did you see? And a lot of times too, you'll see kids like are playing with like their army toys and stuff. Lots of times they are experiencing a past life. So kids are very intuitive. So please trust and believe, and don't be afraid. Because, I started out talking about the video of I laugh. I do laugh a lot. But oh my gosh, of course, I take your life very seriously and everything very, very serious. But keep yourself safe. And to me, that's the best kind of weaponry to have is laughter, But anyway, so yeah, so don't be afraid, and don't teach your child to be afraid, because when you do that, fear gives spirits who don't have your best of intentions. Fear gives them energy. Yeah. So it's important to not give something that is not the best to be around. Don't give them the energy. I mean, because I would watch these things when I was younger, and I'm like, I would be so mad if something came in and started ripping off my kitchen cabinet doors. I was like, why does the lady stand there and say, no, you pick it up. Now you can fix it. But just don't be afraid. Okay, you guys, don't be afraid. And it's like I said too, whenever I'm in a situation, I can feel Archangel Michael and his band of soldiers, his band of like angels behind me. I can feel it, and I know they've got my back. You are safe. Talk to Archangel Michael. And that's what I teach kids, because a lot of times too, I will talk to children. When I had the office in Maryland, I would also do workshops with kids, for kids. And I teach them about Archangel Michael. And Archangel Michael, when you call for him, you do call for Archangel Michael, not just Michael. And he'll be there in a flash. He's got a crazy, quirky sense of humor. I did want to go back to this really quick too. If you notice, little children have been known to say to their parents that they miss Jesus or they miss God. And then there's some too that have said to me, I miss Mother Mary. And Mother Mary is like the patron saint for those of you who work with children. But kids remember that. Kids do remember their experiences, because remember, they just left home to come into this grand play. So don't sell yourself short if you're different. Be proud to be different. If anything, you want to be different. You don't want to be, if people are going to call you crazy, I'm sorry. There's a difference between being psychotic versus psychic. And I just don't understand like why people are like so against that. Because using your psychic ability, that's your cell phone to and from God. And it provides you with so much information, including common sense. You follow your gut. Like if you're driving and all of a sudden you feel like, oh, maybe I better not turn right. Maybe I should go, to the next street over, whatever. You're following your psychic ability. Most people have it. There are some people that probably it's, not as strong, but it is a sense. It's like your other five senses. You heighten your other five senses. You do what you can to strengthen your other five senses. Do the same to your sixth sense. I know that one of my shows that I want to do, or one of my vlogs that I want to do, is going to be about, hey, Frank, how you doing? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Here we go. Do you take individual numbers or pairs to determine your life path number? You break the numbers down, like the example I did. And if I remember correctly, Frank, you're an 8. But yeah, you want to break it down. The numbers go from 1 to 9. But the 11s, and I didn't mention this, the 22s, it's kind of like extra spunk there. But for those of you that are 8s, old souls, very old souls, kind of like my buddy Frank being he's a really old man in a young man's body. Yeah, the 8 soul, you have a lot of past life memories, and 8 people, they've had so many different lives that they don't like to settle for being destitute, because it's like they say, I've been there, done that, not going to have this life. But also just very goal oriented, very good listeners, and very kind people. So yes, so you do want to break it down to one number when you're figuring out your life path. And it does give you some direction. It actually gives you a lot of direction, because when you look it up, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, that's me. That's me. But anyway, so continuing with being like with the kids and stuff and with yourselves, it's okay to be different. I wouldn't want to be like, how they had the Stepford Wives, and I would not want to be like that. And more than not, a lot of people through life will be called crazy because you're different. But let me tell you the truth about that though. What happens is, like, let's say if your mate's doing something that he or she they think they're slick and they're getting away with it, but you call them out on it. Well, then you're crazy. You're crazy, when in fact, voila, you were right. You were right about what you're saying. So you just have to have faith. And I am going to say this. Everybody has their higher power. You guys, it's so important. It is so important. You've got to have faith, and I am going to push like what I've learned, what I've seen, what I've experienced, because I was that little girl that would, go to church every Sunday with my mother. We were like Irish Catholic, and I'm pulling on her skirt, going, Mom, who's that man talking about? That's not the God I know. The God I know is nice. And she started bringing like mallow cups and giving them to me in church, so I would be quiet. But I have God dreams. I have one of my videos is about a microwave. They are actual God dreams. In my dreams, I don't see him, but I hear him. And he is very clear, very detailed. And I love him so much because we have a really good relationship. he loves me because I'm so zany. I mean, I admit that. I get it. But he kind of teases me a little bit. Or when for instance, when he told me about the microwave, he told me where I was when I first saw a microwave and what I was wearing, right? So I just remember looking, going, that's a little stalkerish. That's not good. And I got the response like, oh, and and then at the end of all of my God dreams, he says to me, and again, I was raised Catholic and I was raised that God is male. So if that's what works for me now, in this lifetime. So you guys, you have to go with what or how you're comfortable. But anyway, so at the end, he'll say to me, okay, I know. Or no, he goes, all right, Jeannie, I know. You need proof. And I go, yeah, I do. I always get the proof because the morning of the microwave dream, my son Kenny was downstairs putting oatmeal in the microwave. The microwave was new, and I'm probably 2 months old, and I smell smoke. So I'm upstairs getting ready, and I ran down. I was like, Kenny, what are you doing? I don't know, Mom. He goes, the microwave just started smoking. I was like, well, that's it. That was proof for me. Unplugged it. And then he's like, Mom, how am I going to make my oatmeal? Well, you're going to make it the way they used to do it, like on a stove. And I don't want to get stuck on that topic, but you guys also, it is important because for seniors, for children, people with autoimmune, if you can avoid the microwave, look, I'm not trying to be what do they call these people? Hysterical people, whatever. I'm not. I have actual proof because I had the God dream and then the proof when it started smoking and I got rid of it. And I was to go in for biopsies. And my doctor, who had been treating me for a long time, he looks at me when I woke up. He looks at me and he's like, I can't figure it out. He actually had a shocked look and he's like, I can't figure this out. He goes, you're the worst patient. You never do what you're told, which is kind of true. I admit that. He's like, and you never take the medicines, that I prescribe. I admit that too. And okay, well, just what happened? Because I was being tested for Barrett's esophagus and a bleeding ulcer. And Barrett's esophagus can be precancerous. So he says, everything's gone. He goes, it's gone. And then he's like, what did you do? And I was still kind of under the drug, under sedation. And I said to him, I stopped using the microwave. But, little kids were coming in and taking stomach medicine. Come on, babies, newborns, and they're not even eating food. But it's because of the microwave. So I say to the moms, no, use those bottle warmers or something, no more. And sure enough, they wouldn't have to, give them. First of all, that medication is not good. The stomach medicine, it's not good for you. Because they're saying now that that's the medicine that can actually bring upon Alzheimer's when you're older. So it's don't, just avoid the microwave. Oh, Erica, that is so nice. Yeah, the children will tell you so many things. You guys, oh my gosh. It saddens me so much because there was an experience where I lived in these apartments. Okay, so I'm sitting outside. It's nighttime, and of course, I'm journaling. I had a little street light one. It was over in apartments. I think Heritage Woods, I think it's called. But anyway, towards the left side was a huge park, or woods, I should say. So I'm sitting with Lily, who was a puppy, and I'm sitting there with my journal, and I decide, and a camera. And I had decided I was going to do my journaling, but I felt somebody watching me. So I turned around and looked, and I saw 2 red eyes. But I looked then at the dog, and she wasn't moving, so I figured, it's okay. Now, after that, though, when I was finished, I said to her, let's walk down here a little bit. And I had a brand new camera. And I figured I'm going to take a picture. I did. And my camera broke. Yeah. So the next day, I kid you not, the next day, that's why I got to tell you really quick. I do ask God for signs because I do believe, you know, I live it, I see things, but I don't want to teach you my opinion because my opinion, it doesn't matter. It's like all this politics. Everybody has got an opinion. I don't want to teach you opinions. I want to teach you facts. And when I say facts, these are things I'm actually seeing and or others are also. So, little kids come running home the next day off the bus. And I was doing this work and my sons came in and said, hey, Mom, the kids at school want to talk to you. Or from school, we just got home from school. They want to talk to you. Can you come downstairs? So I did. And all the kids, they're quietly sitting at the picnic table. Whereas unusual, because the day before it was Sunday and they were all like playing football and there was a really nice field. And because my dog would always grab the ball and then it was like, oh my gosh, now the kids got to go get the ball from Lily. You know what I mean? But anyway, they were solemnly sitting. The youngest one was 6. So I came out and I go, hey guys, what's going on? And the little boy says, I slept under my bed last night. Oh, I'm sorry. Why'd you sleep under your bed? And he said, because those things scared me. I looked at the other kids and said, what things? So, and I got to say too, I did come back and I asked him, like, why didn't you tell your mom? And he said, because she wouldn't believe me. She would never believe me. He goes, I see things all the time and she never believes me. That breaks my heart because, as a mom, I made a lot of mistakes. I'm not saying I was a perfect mom, but I would always go and check my kids. And I'd go in and I'd do the sign of the cross on them, I'm like after they're sleeping, just to make sure they're okay, And I would notice if my kid was like not in the bed and I'd be a little alarmed. But anyway, so then the older kids go, yeah, Miss Janie, it was crazy. We were playing football and the ball went in the woods. And I should say the 2 boys were 15 and 16. And the other ones were like, I don't know, 9, 10. So so the 10-year-old and the 16-year-old, they go, so we ran in the woods to go get the ball. And he said, I walked in the woods. He said, Miss Janie, there was these big black birds. He said, probably this big. And they had red eyes. And he goes, there must have been like 80 of them. So he said, I picked up like something to throw it. And he said, they threw me. And he goes, they threw both of us back. So we literally just like were thrown like with force, nothing touching us, but threw us so that we fell back flat on our backs. And he's like, it was really scary, really, really scary. So I go, okay, so then what happened? And he goes, we took off. We just took off then. And he goes, the ball was right there next to me. I just grabbed it. And he goes, we ran and everybody went home. And I had gone out with the kids, so I wasn't there. But it was really frightening for them. So I talked to them. I talked to them about what was going on. I said I was really proud of them for being, brave and for handling it the right way, instead of you trying to be the heroes. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, I'm sorry, let's go. We're out. We're done. But it's important. It's so important to be open with the kids because, again, that just broke my heart. It broke my heart that this poor kid slept under his bed all night. Oh, hello, Miss Kim. I'm so glad you made it. You guys, I'm so happy this is actually working. It's like pretty good. Oh my gosh. So, yes. So with the kids and then like with you guys, with you guys, don't it comes in so handy. It just comes in so handy. And again, people say they don't believe or they don't want to accept it because they're afraid. But going back to what I was saying, there's nothing to be afraid of as long as you have faith in, like I said, I say God. God is my boss. Jesus is my manager. And Archangel Michael is the head of security. And I feel very safe that way. Oh my gosh. So I was living in an old farmhouse in Boston, and it was like over 100 years old. And right next to the house was their Christmas tree, right? This couple's like first Christmas tree. One night I'm on the phone doing a session. My kids are upstairs in their bunk beds in their room sleeping, and I heard a noise, but but I was on a business call, right? So I didn't want to like if somebody's paying me. I'm not going to be walking around my house looking for stuff, right? But I mean, I listened, and the dog wasn't giving me any signs that there was any problems. So I went about what I was doing. The next day, the kids, well, yeah, no, the next day, yeah, my one son took Lily out. He's like, Mom, you've got to see this. The tree was pointing this way. Okay. Like, and the house is like here. Right. So by every possible reason, the way the tree was leaning, that tree should have fallen in the house because it was a really bad thunderstorm the night before. That tree should have, because it was tilted and it was huge, it should have fallen in the house. And if it did, it would have killed my kids or maimed them, but it didn't. So I called the landlord, and then he calls like a tree specialist. The tree specialist came out too, and he was just like, oh, wow. And I didn't say anything. I wanted to see what he would say. And he's like, this tree, the way that it even was in the bottom, how it was tilted, he's like, I have no idea how that tree came and fell that way when it should have fallen that way. And it's, and I said to him, that's why I'm not afraid, because it is what it is. It's divine intervention. And it's like I teach, when something doesn't make sense, it's divine intervention. That's like the situation where you're like scratching your head going, this doesn't make any sense at all. It's divine intervention. And in life, you guys are light workers. You're good people. You've had hard lives, and everybody's made mistakes. God gave us free will because this is school. We're in school and we are learning until the day we go home. So free will is for us to learn, to make our mistakes, to learn, grow, and go. So, like, just grasp everything and enjoy yourselves. Continue to be kind. Don't be embarrassed. No. If something is weird, say it. Because lots of times there's a lot of weird stuff, but they're not always wanting to talk about it because everybody's so afraid to be different. There are people that may come across you the wrong way, but kindness for everyone, and know you're protected, which again goes to, Archangel Michael protects people like us. Oh, I got to talk about this too with the kids really quick. Okay, so with the children, sometimes, like I'm going to tell you, not to do something here. with the kids, when they talk to you about seeing things, you know, don't put them like they're on a talk show and ask like all these questions. And then the child becomes so gifted and special because, oh, they're seeing ghosts. Because I have had situations where the child had other siblings, but felt like, this child was getting extra attention and was actually started to make things up. Um, a- an adorable child, but was at an age too tired of being like, I think probably the middle child or something. Yeah, so you want to be careful with that and don't ask the child like questions. Let the child talk to you about what's going on, what he or she sees. But yeah, please, because that is so important, because if your kids can talk to you about that and you listen and take it seriously, they will talk to you about anything. Does anybody have any like questions before I close this up? Any questions at all? You're all different. We're like the island of misfits. Woo! Yes, Frank, that is right. That is very right. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, because your numbers like all added up, and it's the month, the date, and the year. And as you see, it all came to 35, and then you take that 3 plus 5 into a single digit. Yeah, it's not hard, and you'll find like when you start looking things up, it's very accurate. Very, very accurate. Oh, great. So I wanted to like do a card here. Oh my gosh, this is so crazy. It's not crazy. I'm not surprised. This is the card that fell out. You can't see it. It's so bright. Spiritual understanding. This card is talking about that I am bringing you esoteric information and symbols and helping you to understand spiritual truths, numbers and symbols. So it's like you're going to find that you are going to start to notice like symbols and numbers, but also, yeah, this is a nice one. This is a really nice card. I'm going to like try to make it more, let's see. I'm going to make it a little better, but it talks about your spiritual understanding is rising to another level as you open up in new ways of looking at life. Keep an open mind, which is key, which is huge, and let go of limited thinking and illusions. Pay attention to signs. Remember, you guys, when you hear something or see something 3 times, that is a sign for you. So yeah, pay attention to the signs and information that comes to you 3 times or more. Notice geometric shapes and symbols in your physical and psychic vision, and know that you do have an increased awareness. I got to tell you this too, because I noticed like with children and Erica, maybe you'll notice this too, that with children that have like autism or they're on the spectrum, they do talk about numbers a lot. Sorry, let me just turn this off. Okay. They talk about numbers a lot. And a lot of times these kids, I'm going to say the kids on the spectrum are super intuitive, super intuitive. But anyway, so yes, so this is, let me say, and that your angels are going to guide you through like changes, because you're going to have great life experiences when you recognize you're different. And it's good to be different. So don't forget that, you guys. So if you can, please hit like, subscribe, and the bell. And think of a creative name for us. I mean, because I don't know, like a lot of times I don't know, I wanna have a name that this name can grow and people can actually we can join it. 'Cause I would love to do, like church services, spiritual services, because I would love to do healing, you know, because there's a lot of you that are healers, and you get mass people together. Oh my gosh, miracles can happen. Just it's like you have faith, hope, love is huge. Also, this is going off topic a little bit. Remember, in your relationships, you have to have a partner who is on the same page as you. You an atheist, well, I don't know. It is kind of funny if you have somebody who's an atheist, um, because things happen. The people that are like, I love it when somebody say to me, "Well, yeah, okay, my husband is ready to come and see you, but he says I don't believe in that crap." Well, that's good. Okay, that's good. So I get to meet them, and then and I'm like I listen because they tell me what questions to ask, and then I tell them like I would say to the husband, "Yeah, apparently you keep saying da 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 a lot," and it's like, "Oh my gosh, what?" It's like, "Yeah, you know." And then I said, "You're going to start seeing," and I give another sign. So when they come back for their next session, yeah. By then, it's like the wife gets mad because it's like the husband now don't wanna leave. He's got all these questions. But it's nice. It's a fun world. You guys, it's a wonderful world, and it's nice to know that you're loved. Like, we're all so loved, and that's like the best feeling ever. So, on that note, I should let you all go. I send to you all many, many angel blessings. Um, for those of you who have my number, I mean, and you can always I'll give you my number. Just reach out to me on email or Facebook Messenger. Okay. But thank you for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. I really do. It was good to see everybody. And don't forget this Thursday, 7:30. And also, you guys, if there's something that you want me to cover for you, then please send it to me. All right. I love you all. And thank you again for joining me.